To my channel Make RTO. What's up? And let's get started with the subject known as industrial electronics. So today we are going to discuss about previous year RTO MVI question on industrial electronics, right? 2011 questions. And because guys, previous year question are most important question because as it gives you the idea about what type of question will be they will be interested in asking, right? So the MPC will be interesting in asking that kind of questions in your coming examination, right? So as always, we will discuss syllabus at the start of this video. So in syllabus there is a first chapter known as diode. The second chapter is your UJT BJT, right? The third is your amplifier, and the last chapter is your microprocessor. So let us see what type of questions are asked in 2011 previous year examination. So let's get started. Now the first question: in any atom the number of electron in the last orbit, that is valence orbit, is limited to. So here the correct answer is 8, right? So as you can see here, if this is a atom, so in the last orbit there are 8 valence electron, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8. So there will be 8 electrons in the last orbit, right? So as we have seen, like there is a valence band, right? There is a valence band and there is a conduction band. So consider that this is a valence band. So in valence band basically there are electrons which are about to, at higher energy level, which are about to go to the conduction band. So in this conduction band basically the electrons, if they are moving to the conduction band, they are free electrons, so they will be ready to conduct as soon as there will be a potential difference. But in valence band what happens, they are in the highest energy level, so if some extra energy is given to these electrons in the valence band, they will jump to the conduction band and they will be free electrons ready to conduct. So for metals, large number of electrons are in the conduction band, right? So now moving on to the next question. Here the correct answer is 8. So in any atom, the number of electron in the last orbit will be 8, that is in valence orbit. Now moving on to the next question. Which interrupt has the highest priority? Now this question is asked in 2011 RTO examination. Also this was asked in your 2017 examination, right? 2017 RTO MVI examination. So guys, as you can see, repeated questions are getting asked in your examination. So you can see that what are the mindset of your examiner and which point he wants you to read, or which point he wants to address in that particular question. So question is, which interrupt has the highest priority? So here the trap interrupt has the highest priority. Like we have earlier discussed in 8085 microprocessor, the trapped interrupt has the highest priority even when the your 8085 is in DI mode. If the trapped interrupt is there, then it will always have the highest priority. Now moving on to the next question. An unijunction transistor UJT has, so options are 2 PN junction and 2 leads, 4 PN junctions, 1 PN junction and 3 leads, 4 leads. So basically what he is trying to say is basically what does it looks like, what does the UJT looks like, and what are the terminals of your UJT, right? He is asking this question. So it cannot have 2 PN junction diode, right? It has only 1 PN junction diode. 1 PN junction diode is present in your UJT. So not 4 PN junctions, so third is not right, and 4 leads, so it will not have 4 leads also, right? It is having 3 leads only, right? So your correct answer will be this, right? one PN junction and 3 leads. As you can see here, unijunction transistor, right? Unijunction transistor, UJT is full form. As you can see, it has 3 leads, that is this lead, and this lead, and it is made up of P and N junction unijunction transistor, right? This is your symbol of unijunction transistor. So we'll look into more about unijunction transistor basics. So it is known as unijunction transistor, UJT. It has 3 terminals, that is base 1, base 2 and emitter, right? Base is formed on lightly doped N-type semiconductor. Guys, very important, base is formed on a lightly doped N-type semiconductor, right? As you can see here, this is base, this is base, so it is formed on this N-type semiconductor, right? Emitter is highly doped P-type semiconductor. So this is your P-type semiconductor, which is also known as emitter, and it is highly doped, so it forms a single PN junction diode. So this is your single PN junction diode, right? This is your single PN junction diode having 3 leads, right? So it forms a single PN junction diode, right? Now moving on to the next question. A certain Zener diode exhibits a 50 millivolt change in Vz for a 2.5 milliampere change in Iz. What is the Zener resistance, right? So it is a very easy and numerical based question. So if you know the formula of Zener resistance, so the formula of Zener resistance is basically Zener resistance is equals to V by I, right? So if you understand the basic electronics, you'll also remember in 10th or 12th examination we have used this formula, that resistance is equal to voltage by current, or we commonly say that V is equals to IR. This is a formula we have commonly and very famously studied also, right? So V is equals to IR. So same he is asking about Zener resistance. So resistance is equals to V by I. So as if you put the value of this voltage is your 50 millivolt, right? 50 millivolt, and your current is your 2.5 milliampere, right? Milliampere. So guys, if you calculate this if you turn this millivolt, it will be 10 to the power minus 3, and 2.5 milliampere is equals to also minus 3. So here you will get your correct answer to be, so it will be 500 divided by 25, that is 20, right? 20 ohm. So the correct answer will be 2, right? 20 ohm will be the answer. So it is basically based on your formula. If you don't remember also Zener resistance, just remember this formula known as V is equals to IR, right? Very easy question. Now next question, the bandwidth of an ideal op-amp is. So for this question you have to know what is an op-amp basically. So it is an amplifier which is used in your various calculators, your various circuits in your computers, right? So what is the bandwidth of this ideal op-amp? So here the bandwidth of the ideal op-amp will be, the correct answer is this, 0 to infinity operating frequency range. So if you remember the characteristic of an ideal op-amp, it consists of infinite open loop gain, right? It has infinite input resistance, zero output resistance, infinite bandwidth, infinite common mode rejection ratio, infinite power supply rejection ratio, right? So these are some of the important characteristic of ideal op-amp. So guys, let's see the characteristic of ideal op-amp again. So it has open loop gain of an ideal op-amp is infinite. As you can see here, it has open loop gain which is infinite. Input resistance of ideal op-amp is infinite, right? Output resistance of ideal op-amp is 0, right? So there is no output resistance of ideal op-amp. Input resistance, it can take infinite resistance, right? Bandwidth of an ideal op-amp is infinite, right? So just remember, for ideal op-amp lot of things are infinite, and the output resistance, that is output that we want, is 0. So that's why it is known as ideal op-amp, right? This is ideal op-amp. Common mode rejection ratio of the ideal op-amp is infinite, right? Input offset current of ideal op-amp is 0, right? Input offset voltage of ideal op-amp is 0. So just remember, input is 0, and your output is also, resistance is 0 basically, and lot of things are infinite. Power supply rejection ratio of ideal op-amp is 0. Slew rate of an ideal op-amp is infinite, right? Input bias current of ideal op-amp is 0, right? So in this way we can identify the characteristic of an ideal op-amp. You have to remember it, right? So here the correct answer would be 1, 0 to infinity operating frequency range, right? Now moving on to the next question. The characteristic of ideal op-amp do not change. So it is asking with respect to what it does not change. So options are with temperature only, with change in current only, with change in voltage only, with the temperature, current and voltage. So here the correct answer is answer 1, that is with temperature only, right? So as you can see here, it doesn't change with current, it doesn't change with voltage. So the characteristic of op-amp doesn't change with current or voltage, it doesn't change with, it just change with the temperature only. So as we increase the temperature, there will be some change in its characteristic, like input resistance, output resistance, right? So that is why there is a temperature condition for op-amp, right? So sometimes we have seen that the circuitry of the machine is getting cooled, right? Because to maintain a certain temperature level, that's what with temperature there's some characteristic changes. Now the last question for this 2011 examination of your RTO. So the question is, DC forward voltage is needed to emit light in case of. So options are LED, LCD, both LED, LCD, neither LED nor LCD. So if you apply the basic common knowledge, LCD doesn't emit your light, right? So ultimately, if LCD doesn't emit light, this and this answer will not be correct, right? LCD doesn't emit light. So what is the light emitting? So if you know the full form of LED, LED, it is light emitting diode, right? So if you know the full form of LED, you can easily answer this question. It is basically asking voltage is needed to emit light in case of, so obviously it will be LED. The correct answer is LED. So as you know, LED works only in forward bias and it emits light, while LCD does not emit light, right? It also already works in forward bias. So that is what it is asking. It is forward bias voltage. Now thank you guys for listening in, and in this lecture we have discussed previous year your RTO AMVR 2011 questions. So guys, this series which I am doing is basically to give you an idea about what kind of a question we will be expecting from the examiner, and as we compare your previous year questions, so we will be having a very good idea about what kind of questions will be there in your RTO examination. So very simple questions from industrial electronics, basic questions guys. So please subscribe to my channel, and thank you.